here we go.
Right, we are live.
It's a great way to start the new podcast for the year.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I've had flu. Okay. Right, anyway, good. Welcome to healthylife.tv. We've been off the air for 3 weeks, but we're glad to be back. And Warren, do you want to say anything about the new year?
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. And may 2022 deliver what it promises to deliver. 2022 is a year of opportunity.
Absolutely.
Has to be.
Yeah, has to be, yeah. It must be. No, right, anyway, today's subject, and there's a reason for it as well, which I'll come to, and that is gout. Gout, symptoms, causes, and treatment. Now, why pick gout? Because it's painful, and it's painful because it's happening to me right now. Okay, which maybe we'll go into. If I might show you a picture. I don't know. Who knows? But
come on, please post a picture here of your toe, your big swollen toe.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think I will. I don't need to see that. It's twice the size. It's very painful, so that's good enough. Anyway, it's a very common thing, gout. It's common mainly with men, but some women do get it as well. But they tend to get it after the menopause. So it's going to be about men today, I think, really. Yeah. Anyway, but it's a complex form of arthritis, and it can affect anyone, to be fair. Okay, and it's characterised by sudden, immediate, severe pain, attacks of pain, which I can attest to over the last. This is the third day now. So, I'd like to say it came out of nowhere. They do suggest that it just suddenly appears, which I'm sure it does at some stage. But I would be honest and say there's been signs. Yeah. Signs it was coming. I had a knuckle that started to increase in size, and it was quite painful. But it was one of those things that you can actually deal with and live with, okay, and work on it on the side type of thing. So it didn't seem that important, although I wasn't going to let it slide. And then a little bit later, that eased off slightly, but it's still reasonable. And I noticed a little pain in both big toes, just very slightly in the background, and also mirrored my other hand as well over here on this knuckle. So I'm going the wrong way. Over here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I can't say there weren't signs. Then 3 days ago, I woke up and my left big toe was twice the size. I was in extreme pain. The pain was right by where a what do you call it? A bunion would be.
Okay.
And actually, there's no swelling on that part where the bunion would be if there was one. But the whole of the big toe is red, painful, and I did think it might be gout before when it first came up in my hand. But then you start looking at other things. You start looking at all the different arthritis, and it took me till I got this far to actually contact the doctor. And I normally deal with things myself. But on this occasion, I thought, no, I can't deal with this myself. I need help. So I got on a telephone call with the doctor because they don't see you live now, do they? I can't remember what he looks like. Anyway, he's just given me two medications.
Okay.
One because I think there's an infection in there, and one because for the actual gout itself. So we shall see.
When you say infection, what do you mean infection? Like how?
Red. Inflammation, so it could be an infection as well there.
Okay.
Yeah, so he said that as well.
Okay.
So we were on the same wavelength. So pain, swelling, redness, and tenderness. And the worst thing is that if you touch it on anything, it's like, if you kick your bedpost, you haven't even got to do that. You just got to touch the bedpost. Just touch it in the right place, And it's like you're playing football and someone's taking you out of the game with a foul. That's how it
Because
feels.
think about it, the bones in your toes are actually very, very brittle, in comparison to the rest of the bones in your body.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to get little hairline fractures in your toes and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So if that's swelled up to the point, like, and I saw Paul's toe, by the way, and but if your toe swelled up to that point, I mean, it's not like that. That's going to cause a lot of pressure on those.
Yeah.
On those bones, those
Absolutely.
little metacarpal muscles and the ligaments and the tendons and everything that's there. It's all very, very thin, very small, very brittle, very susceptible to pain. So I can imagine how painful it could be.
And that is the most common place where I had it, in the big toe. So
okay,
they say most often, but yeah, you can see why. And
so shall we share what foods are good for gout?
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit more before we got to that, actually.
Oh, okay.
But we'll give you a clue though. Red meat. see, it's the bane of my life. Whatever I have, they say, because I've got this is the third now immune disease I've got. Albeit we don't know how long it's going to last, but and for all of them, red meat.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. Whoa, someone just walked on my grave. Yeah, I would say that I think they're telling me I'll give up red meat.
That's a shame.
I know, it's my favourite. Although to be fair, I need maybe a couple of times a week, so it's not something. But anyway, we'll come to it in a minute.
Some of us are not. Yeah, some of us, our bodies are not designed to consume red meat. So if you're having beef, then yeah. But if you eat, what about lamb? How often do you eat lamb?
Not that often.
Probably be better off eating something like lamb or something like that.
I love lamb. So I mean, if someone said to me, "You'll be fine if you eat lamb," then I'll eat lamb. No problem whatsoever.
Beef is often the issue with people. I mean, for various reasons. But lamb is typically not as much of an issue, other than the fattiness of it. See if you can eat lamb. Should be.
Yeah. Yes, doctor. I will do that now.
Yes,
I will. Seriously. Now, an attack can come suddenly. Everything you read about gout tells you that it suddenly arrives. But I can tell you that there are signs. Your body's bloody, real decent bit of kit, and it picks up on things. And how many times have you? Doesn't matter if it's gout, but anything. How many times have you picked up on a sign? You went, your body, your mind's going, nah, no, oh, okay.
Too late now.
It's too late. Yeah, it's either too late or it's you can. It's like anything else. You can do something about it, and you can change your diet, which we'll come to. And they say that it's often in the middle of the night when you wake up, and there's this searing pain, this sensation that your big toe's on fire. Right. Well, mine was in the morning when I woke up.
Okay.
So, people can write what they like, but it can happen anytime you like. And what did I write down? I wrote down, oh yeah, slight knock is agony, and I've done it about half a dozen times. Because in my bedroom, I've got books under the bed. I'm standing next to the bed. I go, oh, it's like. So you keep trying to push the books back, but there's always another one emerges somehow. So what are we going to say now? Right. Weight. Weight is very, very important, and we'll come to that. Again, that's another thing that comes up with most things about keeping a good weight. Okay. So, have you ever had gout? No?
Don't think I've ever had it.
Have you ever come across gout with someone else?
Yeah, my mother used to struggle with gout. My mother used to get gout.
And what did she do?
At that time, she would just literally cut back on like asparagus or anything that, like she just really used to cut back on asparagus, and then she'd have medication for it.
Wow.
She never cut back on the alcohol. Although my mother never drank copious amounts of alcohol, but she would drink every day or something. But she never cut back on the alcohol. But yeah, my mother, and I think it, like you say, it was after menopause. It started to show itself later on in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just the big toe, like the foot.
Well, I've been around 67 years, so I suppose can't complain too much.
No, you can't.
But that doesn't mean to say you can ignore it. You really, and the whole key is managing the symptoms. You find out.
This is the thing: is symptoms, man.
Yeah, it's symptoms. In other words, from the diet point of view, we were talking about red meat. From the symptoms that all come in that, and how you now, what you do with your life and your body and your diet, moving on from now, and it's all with gout. It's all about flaring up. It's not there all the time. Once I've taken this medication, I'm sure everything will be fine for a little while.
Yeah.
So it's up to me then to do something about my diet or whatever it is, and do it quickly and get it moving.
On the medication.
Yeah. So in other words, to try and avoid some flare-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, there's a couple in there that made me laugh, because they were things that I should be doing all the time anyway. All right, but we'll come to that. So now I've got a new name for gout, and it's called the Night Stalker. And the reason being is because if you've got something wrong with your big toe, even the weight of the sheet will cause you problems.
Okay, yeah.
Right, and if there's something that you've made in bed or anything like that, the Night Stalker will find you, and you get the old cattle prod, and it will go, and it will wake you up. But it is intense joint pain. To be fair, it's the most intense joint pain I've ever had in my life. Look, could I live with it if I laid still? Yeah, probably. But I don't think that's the way forward. So,
you want to live, is it?
Sorry?
It's not the way you want to live. No.
And it can affect any joint. It's just that the big toe is the most commonplace one. Do you remember earlier in the football season, I said I had problems with my knees?
Yeah.
Well, that's another place you get it. So I could have been just an indication for my body telling me, there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at other things like, other arthritis, osteo, and the other one, rheumatoid. So, but I couldn't see it. So then I started to ignore it because the knees were clearing up, and fingers are another one. And so not necessarily the fingers for me, but I had the joint on the knuckle of the on the right hand. So elbows, wrists, ankles. So it can hit you anywhere. So consider it. If hopefully you never get it, but if you do, then consider that it could be gout. All right. But in the end of the day, go to see the professional. Yeah. That's what I had to do, was take pictures from all angles, send them to him, and then when he phoned up, he didn't need to see me, did he? And if it was that reason and wasting a doctor's time, I would say, yeah, I would agree. For that type of thing, you don't need, for something as reasonably simple, you don't need to see a doctor.
No, but if you're struggling with stomach pains that are you want to go see a doctor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it does depend on what type of part. But what I do agree with is the fact that you should not wait. You should deal with it immediately. All right, even if it's just a quick phone call with the doctor. So, and of course, he wanted to know what the result was of the when I take the medication, which I haven't got yet. I'll get it later today. But they reckon that the pain is most severe in the first 4 hours, up to 12 hours. Well, I can tell you, it's been like that for 48 hours. Been no change. So again, don't believe everything you read. Okay, they're indications. Okay, so what I've got at the moment, because I'm not touching it too much, I'm touching it now, but it's It has eased slightly, so it's more like a lingering discomfort. So that's the dangerous part. If you haven't dealt with it when it's been painful, you're more likely to leave it if it's easing off. But don't do that. So lingering discomfort is number 1 of the symptoms. 2 is inflammation and redness. Now we deal with inflammation all the time, so it can come and go anywhere and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy when you get something like that with a big toe because you know you've got to deal with it. But what you don't see is the inflammation from a cellular level. Okay, so you need to take care of inflammation even when you don't think you've got it. Would you agree with that?
Based on the science, yes, definitely. You
Absolutely.
most likely have it in any case, the inflammation that is. So you want to make sure that you just take precautions.
Yeah.
Right, rather plan ahead and prepare yourself. And what's that?
Preventative.
Yeah, rather plan ahead, prepare yourself, and prevent what could possibly happen if you can. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Especially
Absolutely.
if the likelihood is that it will happen, because if you're talking about inflammation, you most likely have inflammation based on scientific fact.
Absolutely. So the other way you might notice it is a limited range of motion. So I've noticed definitely when you've got swelling and all that, you've definitely got that sort of thing happening.
Yeah,
but it could be just that alone. So it could be like a precursor to the full blown flare up. So again, let's confirm when you should see your doctor. What would you reckon, Warren?
The moment you suspect it, and if you've self-diagnosing is a very tricky thing as well. So just if you suspect you've got gout, if you've knocked yourself clearly and it swells up, and you want to leave it to try to see if it heals on its own, then fine. But otherwise, if it just flares up like it did with Paul, then I would recommend that you just speak to your doctor. It's because something like that you can't necessarily manage yourself. You may need medication.
No, that's right. Yeah, I think self-managing yourself is all right for the first hour or so. Because you've got to do that. You've got to do that. But if you're a bit like me from the past, I used to grin and bear it and think I can sort this out.
Yeah, but that's
a lot of time. To be fair, a lot of times I did, but I don't think it's the best way forward.
I had a friend like that in South Africa. He had stomach pains and stomach cramps, and then it just got worse and it got worse, and he thought he'd deal with it himself. And they found him almost dead in his apartment one day because he had appendicitis, and he ended up getting poisoning from it.
Septicemia probably, and all that.
Yeah. So we tried to get hold of him for like days, and we couldn't get in. Then she had to break the door in, and he was lying on the ground almost dead.
Yeah.
Don't try to be
the other thing is, just from pure gout point of view, if the gout goes untreated, it can lead to worsening pain and real joint damage.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So there's no, I mean, although I had that on my there, okay, it's still quite sizable. Well, it's not. It has gone down a bit, but that's grinning and bearing it. Okay, so I knew when it happened to my toe that I had to do something about it straight away. That was the difference. So I would say seek medical care almost immediately, right? And especially if you've got a fever as well, because that's what it got picked up with me. I had a fever. It's very slight. It wasn't immense. It wasn't, but there was a slight fever, and the joint was definitely hot and inflamed. So, so it could have been a sign of infection as well, and that's the reason why I was a bit concerned. I don't like infection, and so what do you think the causes are?
Red meat, excessive alcohol.
Yeah, well, yeah, I get where you're coming from, but what actually happens? Do you know what happens with gout?
No.
Okay, well, it occurs when the urate crystals accumulate in the joint, causing the inflammation and intense pain
Okay.
of the gout attack. So
Yeah, I know what you
there are
mean.
high levels of uric acid in the body,
Yeah.
and your body produces uric acid when it breaks down purines.
Purines, which is in fish. Certain fish.
Yeah, and purines are actually natural substances as well that are found in the body. So it could be that you're adding purines from what you're eating to the purines that are already there, overloading that part of it.
Okay.
Purines are found in red meat. They're also found in the organ meat, liver and things like that.
Oh, yeah. Awful.
Yeah, purines rich in seafood. Seafoods, yeah. I'm just saying because I like anchovies, sardines. I don't like mussels and scallops too much, but trout's another one, and tuna.
Oh,
I know.
what a tough one.
I know it's for me, definitely.
Yeah.
Also,
It's going to be lamb and turkey.
what's sorry?
Looks like it's going to be lamb and turkey.
Yeah, lamb and turkey. Alcoholic beverages, especially in beer.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the favourite one, wasn't it? The bloke goes down the pub all the time, every day, and has his 3 or 4 pints or whatever, and that was what caused the gout. Which is, that's what I knew gout to be. Funny enough. So, drinks sweetened with fructose, which is fruit sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, and that promotes high levels of uric acid within the body. And so, what I'm gonna do is I do like those type of drinks, albeit I don't go berserk on them. So I'm going to stop drinking those, and I'm going to revert to water, filtered water, and maybe use real fruit in the drinks.
Yeah. They should do.
Yeah, but not go berserk. I don't drink too much beer now, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Red wine. If you have some red wine once a week, that should be okay.
Yeah, that's good because I like red wine.
I wouldn't say G&T. Definitely not G&T.
Oh, that's a shame.
Acid.
Just about to go on to that. All right. Anyway, I'm only joking. Right. So, yeah. So, and that's it. And the problem is either you excrete too little uric acid when you go to the loo, or you produce too much. So they're the reason that you get the problems in the joints. So, what I was going to say. What are some of the risk factors? Any idea what some of the risk factors are? We've already mentioned some of them. The diet can be. We've said all the ones that are a problem. But weight. I mentioned weight earlier. Mm-hmm. If you're overweight, your body produces more uric acid, and your kidneys have a more difficult time eliminating that acid. Mm-hmm. So think about that. Now, weight's not a problem for me. Okay, but anyway, medical conditions. Certain medical conditions, diseases, and conditions increase your risk of gout, including high blood pressure and chronic conditions such as diabetes, obesity, metabolic syndrome, which is a favourite of yours, I know, Warren, when we spoke about it.
Yeah.
And heart and kidney disease. Okay. So here's something you've got to pay attention to. Certain medications also, low dose aspirin, and some medications used for hypertension, which I'm not going to go into.
I need to.
Yeah, there are other ones like ACE inhibitors, beta blockers, and things like that. And anti-rejection drugs. If someone has an organ transplant, there also can be a problem. Now, the challenge I had was that I didn't have any family history because I don't have any family. No, seriously, I'm adopted, so I don't have contact with, true blood family members. Yeah. So that's again another area you can look at. And also, there's 2 other areas. One is recent surgery. if you've had some kind of surgery at all, experiencing recent surgery or trauma can sometimes trigger a gout attack.
Okay.
Or a trauma on its own. So maybe you've had something happen to you.
Like psychological trauma.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last one is vaccinations. Okay.
Huh.
Now, I can't blame that one. All right.
That.
So now there are sometimes a few complications with gout. Any idea what they may be?
Pain.
Pain, yeah. The pain. Kidney stones.
Kidney. Okay.
Kidney stones may collect in the urinary tracts of people with gout.
Yes.
Again, you've got to do something to improve the situation and pay attention. Reoccurrent gout. Some people may never experience gout signs and symptoms again. Others may experience gout several times a year. So medications may help, and there are quite a few of them, which I'm not going to go through. But so just bear that in mind as well. Hopefully, if I do the right things, I may well not get it reoccur. And it's also advanced gout as well. So untreated gout, because some people will let it go, won't they? May cause deposits of urate crystals to form under the skin in nodules. Okay. And in the fingers, hands, feet, elbows, or Achilles tendon, especially for sports people, along the backs of the ankles. So they can become swollen and tender during gout attacks. So they're just some of the things that, you want to pay attention to. So what about anything else you think at all?
No. Just I've also read that stuff like red meat and fish is okay in moderation. So I think like for someone like yourself,
I've got to eliminate red meat.
Yeah, I'd say eliminate red meat because you're already on an oil-based diet in any case. So
yeah,
you don't want to give that up.
Oh no, I don't want to. No, you're right.
Yeah, so just eliminate the red meat and see if that helps. Yeah, but again, as you say, you don't eat red meat too often because you understand that you don't need to eat red meat too often. So
yeah, but you do lapse occasionally. Like you might have maybe a beef stew, or you might have chili con carne.
Yeah, but the thing is that most people today, the Western diet, we're looking at people eating meat every day.
Yeah, no, I don't do that ever. So
it doesn't. Yeah, you should be okay. But if you just eliminate that for now, I think that's a good starter. And then the beer. So unfortunately, I know that beer is quite it's a strong source for gout.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one last thing I wanted to mention, and that was over the last few weeks, because I've been managing my knees and things like that, which are now completely cleared up, funny enough, I haven't been exercising as much as I should do. And exercising regularly is one of the ways, and obviously maintaining a good, healthy weight, or two of the ways that help you not get gout. Okay. Would you believe? Yeah. So I would say inactivity. Inactivity is the thing to avoid as well. And
if you're struggling with gout already, and you're thinking, well, how can I exercise if I've got gout, and you have it on your foot, and your toe, then find something that you can do, either laying down on the ground, or otherwise get into a pool and swim. And if you can, if that's not too painful with the force of the water on your toe and your foot, then swim. Swimming is a great way to, exercise in any case.
Yeah.
And there's no pressure really on the joints or anything like that. So
absolutely. Anyway, I will report back to you and let you know how the gout's working out.
Good, man.
After I've taken the medications and tweaked the lifestyle a little bit and diet, and we'll see how it goes. So I'd be interested if anyone else has got gout and they want to talk about it. I'm quite happy to talk to them. And it does help to talk, as they say.
Yeah, helps to share.
Yeah. So with that, we're going.
We're wrapping up.
A very painful start to the new year, but I'm sure we will overcome.
Shane,
As the suffragettes did.
You have had a bad start to the new year.
I've had right. I had 4 days of a bad back, then I had flu, and then I got this. So, but I'm still smiling until I get off camera. No, I'm still smiling. So, but anyway, I hope everyone else is well, by the way, and hope you had a fantastic New Year, Christmas, and everything else. And we're back now, and we'll be doing something every week. So with that, if you've got any questions, let us know. If you feel the need, please love and share this. And let's look to increase our listenership on both the podcast and Facebook Live and YouTube. So we're looking forward to more shows, and we'll get into it. And if you've got any ideas you want us to talk about, let us know.
That's a good one.
With that, we're going to say goodbye and have a fantastic week. We'll speak soon.
Ciao, ciao. Enjoy. Have fun.
See you later. Bye.